This Iowa Corn 350 DFS Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Today is Thursday, and that only means one thing. It is time to set up your DFS lineups with a little help from your friends here, the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Cody, we've made it to the end of the week, and I, for one, am excited. I know you're super excited because we're doing this show early, which means you get to watch Trey Lance on your television screen later.
Trey Lance season, my friends. Not too early to head over to Underdog Fantasy, get signed up, use the promo code RACESGPN, then head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Check out my article with all my favorite plays for tonight, but I'll give you a free one here, and it's Trey Lance higher than 27.5 rushing yards because it's Trey Lance, baby. I know that your 49ers never gave him the time. This man was never given the time he deserved as a number 3 overall pick. As a young child, just a little baby, still given the time to prove he could be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and you'll forever have to live with the pain of not knowing what could have been, Rod. But we get to see him tonight on Hall of Fame night, and I'm fucking excited.
I just never understood why an FCS quarterback with such a thin resume got that high of a draft pick. It didn't need to happen that way, Trey. You should have had time to mature, and unfortunately, we never gave you that opportunity. But that's all right. Nick checking in, saying, what up? It's all good. What up, experts saying, Battle of the Corn. It is the battle.
There's no battle. Nebraska corn's better. And Iowa corn is just what's sponsoring the race.
Which one sweats more? That's what I want to know. Nebraska corn.
They're both corn. Been sweating a lot, I'll tell you that. I was talking to Justin. I was on the OFF yesterday, and old-fashioned football, of course. And yes, we had some corn sweat conversation because it's been pretty intense for both of us.
Yep, definitely hot. But the action will be hot again. And please, let's not have any sort of weather complications. Let's just make this a nice, clean race with no precipitation.
What would a NASCAR race be without weather, Rod?
Fun to watch.
Have those anymore?
No, they do not. Even out here in California, there was a little bit of not that there was any threat of rain, but boy, the clouds, when they kind of came in a little bit, we're like, what is this even signaling right now? But I don't know. Anyways, we're here. We're in Iowa. There are no, unfortunately, Underdog Fantasy picks available for the NASCAR, for the Cup Series race, rather. So we're going to pivot and give you both the Xfinity and so a little bit of bonus here. We're going to give you our Cup Series DFS, but we're going to first give you our Xfinity Series DFS because what the hell? We can and we will. So we'll do that today instead of giving you our Underdog Fantasy plays like we normally do. But Cody, you are set to be on the Sports Gambling Podcast proper today. Their big show. They're back with their
about 3 hours ago.
Oh, it was 3 hours ago?
Yeah, it was this afternoon.
I'm under a rock, man. All right,
Hey, they're about to go live again here shortly with the Steelers preview. They got 2 days going on over there. They're cranking them out.
Well, see, go watch Cody and then go watch them later on after their second show today because they're back with their 32 NFL team previews. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they're going to give out one word.
You got to watch them in order or your phrase is going to be all fucked up.
That'll be a fun phrase. That'll be a fun phrase. You just write it all down and like you
got all the words right, but yeah, then you have to unscramble them. That's an idea for next year. I'm going to give that to Sean. Like give out 32 words. And then people have to put them together and create what the phrase is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like a Survivor challenge is what it is. Like, that's exactly what it is. So, but do that. They give out the one word for the 32 phrase, and you got to listen in order. So go back and listen and submit the phrase for a chance to win a $1,000 Circa future. Cody did not get to give out the word today, unfortunately, but that's all right.
No, I did hear the word. I got it written down. So my phrase still intact. The experts suck with the buggers reference. If you don't know, Rod, Nebraska Cornhuskers were once known as the Nebraska Bug Eaters. The day that I become an Arena Football One team owner and have a team here in Nebraska, they will be the Nebraska Bug Eaters, or I don't know if there's trademark stuff there, but I will find a way around it, and they will be the Bug Eaters because I think it's just a great name and would be an amazing Arena Football name.
I feel like you wouldn't have too much problems getting the rights to that. They would probably gladly hand that over.
Yeah. There is, I think they do sell like old Bug Eaters gear. You can buy. I've seen like they changed the name in like hundreds. I think like late 1890s or something. They became the Cornhuskers. But yeah, there's Bug Eaters gear around and history from that. So pretty cool name, I think.
I would definitely wear a Bug Eaters hat or some sort of merchandise. So get on that. Go ahead and win your first million so we can start that team for sure. All right. We are in Iowa for this weekend of racing. Of course, just Xfinity and Cup. No trucks this week. So what we will do, like we said, is we will give you our Xfinity plays to start off the show, and then we'll give you a Cup series picks at the second half. But first, check in with Marcus. He's saying, what's your pick to win Iowa? His is Christopher Bell, 2-time Xfinity Series winner, which we're going to talk about here in a second.
Pretty good pick there.
Yeah. And then Boji Joe checking in saying, hey, guys, please give Jess a shout-out. Her 9-year-old dog, Daisy, has a baseball-sized lump over her right eye. She's giving a second opinion tonight for cancer. That's rough. We're
thinking of you, Jess. Yeah, we recently went through losing our girl at 13 years, and it's tough. We don't ever get enough time. They're our best friends, and we love them very much. So thinking of you, Jess. Hopefully they can get some answers for you and buy some more time with pup for you.
Absolutely, yes. Always, the pets are always the ones that get us through a lot of hard times. So, all right, let's turn our attention to the Hy-Vee Perks 250, the Xfinity race over there in Iowa. We're set for 250 laps around this 0.875 mile paved track for 218.750 miles at the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. Cody, there are some notables on this list that I didn't see that they're available on DraftKings. So, I mean,
I saw Hocevar for sure was added. I guess I did not look for Austin Dillon, but he's on here as well. Yep, they're both added. So yeah, notables. Ross Chastain, rather, was already intended to be in this race and scheduled. He'll be in the number 9 car for Junior Motorsports. Carson Hocevar has been added to the 11 car. Of course, Josh Williams has been taken out of that seat. He was fired, essentially, or they mutually parted ways. Rod, fancy way for saying he was fired. But Carson Hocevar has been added to the pool. He'll be $11,000. Woo, buddy, it's a hot price. And Boji Joe wants to know, Hocevar in the 11, can Colleague give him a car? Do they ever give anybody a car? It's occasionally, right? Sometimes. I believe in Hocevar. Don't believe in his car. 11,000. Not on either of our lists. I will tell you that for sure. Austin Hill, if you did not, if you were sleeping under a rock or something, I suppose, he has been suspended for this race and RCR not appealing that penalty. So Austin Dillon stepping into the car, he only $9,800 for Austin Dillon in an RCR, not only an RCR car, not a third RCR car, in the 21 RCR car. Not on either of our lists, but I would definitely consider playing him, and I would consider it Maybe he should have made the list, honestly. I'm
Well,
going to give him a special shout out.
I was about to say he was initially as I was searching through it, and I didn't notice Hocevar because I was scrolling by fantasy points per race, and he's down there at -11, so I didn't even pay attention to the fact that he was on there. But for Austin Dillon, no. But for Austin Dillon, I was like $9,800. This is, and then I thought, well, okay, listen, I'm gonna give out my guy, but I'm also going to give a shout out to Austin Dillon because, like you said, he should be on our lists, and unfortunately,
9,800 in that 21 car. You know, he's a good race car driver. He's always been good in the Xfinity Series. We saw Richmond, right, kind of a comp track to this, where he won in the Cup Series last year. Had a fast car before wrecking people out at the end. So
good on this track as well.
Yeah, he's been good here he's got the experience here in the past in the Xfinity Series from back in the day. So. Yeah, shout out to Austin Dillon at 9,800. But I believe that concludes Justin Bond Senior's in the 19 car for Gibbs. Okay, Corey Day's in the 17. We did talk about him on the betting episode for Hendrick. But yeah, I think that covers. And Josh Williams, by the way, is in the pool at $6,100. He is already marked as out. He will not be racing. So do not play Josh Williams in your DFS lineups.
Yes, please do not do that at all. All right, well then, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's step away for a quick second. When we come back, we'll start to load you up with our high-priced drivers. Actually, we'll probably get through the entire Xfinity slate before we got to break again. So let's do that. Let's step away, and we'll come back, and we'll give you all of our drivers for the Xfinity Series race. But first, allow me to tell you about my friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and, of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using cryptocurrency. Been diving into the world of the National Rugby League Women's Tournament, and guess what? I have uncovered the Sydney Roosters. They are the best team in the entire ladder right now. They are undefeated at 4-0, and MyBookie has them at plus 134 to win the entire thing. I think they have a good shot of doing so. They've been laying waste to all of their opponents, and the Sydney Roosters will be your National Rugby League Women's Champions by the end of it, plus 134. Over on mybookie.ag. Get over there now. Use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before. They just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. Essentially, it's the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. MLB Power Trends are crushing it. A lot of unders on batter hit props that are collectively hitting at a rate of 70%. Fading players is profitable. Yes, indeed it is. WA Power Trends since the All-Star break, 27-16 on Power Trends with a 23.36% ROI. They're absolutely cooking. Nice little bankroll builder for NFL, which, as we know, is kicking off very, very shortly. Download the Rhythm app. Check out the Power Trends. Start betting smarter. You know that we are going to be. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Got to love it. Power Trends are all the rage these days. Go hook yourself up. All right, Cody, we are hooking them up with our high-price drivers for this slate, for the Xfinity race. So where are we starting if it's not Austin Dillon?
Yeah, real quick, wanted to shout out John checking in the chat. He says Ryan Blaney is going to win Iowa, of course, in response to Marcus's question earlier on. Laura checking in. Hello, Laura. Good to see you. All right, Rod, let's jump to my high-price driver. I'm going to go to the lower side of the high-price guys. I did cruise right past Austin Dillon. Gave him the consideration. We gave him the shout-out already. But I'm going to go to Taylor Gray, sitting tucked in down there, $9,000 cool dollars. This is a guy that kind of jumps off the board to me because we have seen, and it's sort of under the radar a bit, right? Because in the past, it's always been, the JGR cars are all fast. The Joe Gibbs Racing cars are all fast. You know, this and that. And now this year, JGR's kind of been, not that they've not been fast. I'm about to make the point how fast he's been, but they're not getting the level of respect they normally get, right? The other car has been Almirola at times or some other guys jumping in there, and that kind of gets flash, but the regular guys like Swalwich has not been too good this year, right? As has been noted. We'll talk some more about that in a little bit, but Taylor Gray has been sort of criminally underrated, honestly. You go back last week at Indy, he starts in 14th, finishes in 3rd place, and he scores 54.6 points. 4 fastest laps, 3 laps led. That part of it didn't have to be flashy, but you go back to Dover, which I have comped to this track in a way. He starts on the pole, leads 49 laps, 6 fastest laps, finishes in 7th, 46 points. The week before that, he scored 41. Had a bad day at Chicago. Okay, fine. But you go back to the week before that, 45.4, 33 points, 50 points back in Mexico. So good solid days there. But he's had some really strong days. And if you look at it, his finishes, for the most part, have been good. Indy, 3rd place. Dover, 7th place. Sonoma, 7th place. Chicago, bad day, fine. Atlanta, great day, 5th. Cody was 7th. Did struggle at Bristol. But Mexico City, he was 2nd. Pocono, he was 9th place. Texas, he finished in 2nd place. Rockingham, some comps you could draw from that track to this one. He finished in 5th place. Phoenix, short, flat track, finished in 6th place. Taylor Gray has been having an underrated good season, and he's actually come really close to winning a couple of these races. A couple of 2nd place finishes. Mexico City was to Daniel Suarez, of course. You go back to Texas, that was 2nd place to Kyle Larson, who was filling in for Connor Zilic at the time. He's had some really great runs, and yeah, TK's point, would have won Martinsville. He was on his way there before Sammy Smith took him out. Yeah, I really, really like Taylor Gray. I think he's been going under the radar, and I think when people click on this, they're going to see Allgaier up top. They're going to see Zilic up top. Those are both guys that you obviously have to consider. They've both been tearing it up and dominating this series. Then you also have Ross Chastain in a JRM car. That's going to be attractive to a lot of people. You have Carson Hocevar. That's going to be attractive to a lot of people. Jesse Love, Sam Mayer, Austin Dillon. All of these people, even Sammy Smith, who I really like, Brandon Jones, you can make a case for. All these people are listed above Taylor Gray. They're going to click their couple, 2 or 3 guys up top, slide right past him. You're not going to overlook Taylor Gray, and you shouldn't, because been a really strong driver. I think he's got a win right around the corner. Of course, if you listened to the Xfinity show yesterday, I gave him out as one of my winners. But he's been very, very good and doesn't have to go out. You're not paying top dollar, $12,000 at the top of the board. He doesn't have to lead 70 laps to cash a great day. He can do like last week, just have a solid day for you. And by the way, he's been qualifying really well, like he did at Dover, and that does lead to some laps led. So he's got some upside there as well.
Yeah, and again, for Taylor Gray, he's, like you said, he's just been underrated, and for $9,000, it's such a great GPP play because a lot of guys are going to be chasing the guy that I'm about to give you, and for good reason, right? Because if you miss and he's the one that's at the top of the board, then you're definitely going to be screwed. However, I do think Taylor offers just a great alternative, especially one that, like you said, a lot of folks are going to go and click on these guys and kind of keep scrolling because $9,000 is a lot to pay for a second driver. But I will say that you should probably have at least one lineup somewhere with Justin Allgaier in it. I know he comes in at $12,000, but it is for fantastically good reason. Why? Because he has led the most laps in the entire series this season, 463 to be exact. And then, you look at the next best person. Oh, I'm sorry. That's at Iowa altogether. But he has led the most laps this season, 463. Woo. No, that's a little bit crazy. How about 685? I have 15 tabs open and I keep clicking on the same one over and over again. 685 laps he has led this season to Kyle Larson's 447, and Kyle Larson isn't even a full-time driver in the Xfinity Series, but he is a couple hundred laps over Connor Zilic with 425, Austin Hill, the next best guy, 287, so he is in front every single race for many, many laps. He's got the second most top 10 finishes this season overall, second only to Jesse Love with 13 top 10s. He's got 11 top 5 finishes, which is the most in the series. The next best is 10 for Connor Zilic. So, look, Justin Allgaier is absolutely crushing it, and he's crushing it in DFS too. He's only 0.2 fantasy points behind Connor Zilic for first place overall in fantasy points per race. Justin Allgaier did lose you 7 points last week, and that stings. But he's averaging.
I'm still pissed off about it. He should have won that race, Rod. Should have been the 100th race winner for JRM, and that pesky Kyle Larson. If it wasn't for that dang Kyle Larson and that stupid dog, or what did they say on Scooby-Doo? I can't remember, but
and your dumb dog too.
Yes, that too. God damn. Okay, anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. Look, and that's true because that's the fresh wound right now. That's what people are going to be going, I'm not paying $12,000 for that. And maybe you grab a couple of folks because they decide not to do that, and you're good, especially in a cash game or a GPP where, maybe people don't want to pay $12,000 for Justin Allgaier, and that's fine. Like I said, he's averaging 40.7 fantasy points this season. He scored you 51 points at Dover, 42 before that, and 102 at the Tennessee Lottery 250. So, I mean, like I said, he's been crushing it all season long, crushing it here in Iowa. He has 17 starts on this track. That is a lot of starts. I know that most of them came before, obviously, last season, where he crashed out of last season's race after leading 14 laps. But before that, 6th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 20th, but 9th, 7th, 7th. He's got 12 top 10 finishes in 17 starts, 1 win, 4 top 5s at Iowa. You can get it done here. You can get it done all season long. $12,000 is a lot, but I think it's worth it if he does come out and crush it like he should.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much of an argument against Allgaier. What's been his number one track, the track you think of when you think of Justin Allgaier? Phoenix. Short, flat track. Really good at this style. Obviously, he's been good here in the past. The only downside is seems like pianos fall a lot, sometimes not even of his own making like last week, right? Kyle Larson took him out. Not much he could do about it. So he does have a very low floor, but the ceiling is extremely high and probably the highest of the field with Connor Zilich, of course. But, should be one of, if not the best car on the weekend without any problem.
Especially because there's 250 laps in this race. If he leads a bunch of them and you don't have them,
that's a lot of Xfinity laps to rack up here in DFS.
Certainly is. All right, well then, we're going to need some salary relief if we're loading up on some of these higher priced guys. Who is going to provide that relief for us, Cody?
Well, Rod,
I am
going to.
I'm sitting back for this.
I'm going to give out this next person here, and I'm going to preface it with I would not play this person in every single lineup. I'm not going to trust them in my cash lineups because we're not to that point in time. But if people are logging in, and like you said earlier, sorting by fantasy points per race, this guy's not going to come up on their radar. Because William Sawalich at $7,500,
I was going to spit take
only averages 10.8 points per race, which, to my point of him sucking this year, is why I've said that, right? But, Rod, I can't ignore the fact that he's looked really good lately, honestly, right? And that's where we're at. So I don't completely trust him. I'm fading him head-to-heads on the shelf for right now. It's a very close shelf. I can reach back and grab it next week if I need to. But I am going to play him, and I think he's going to be a difference maker. Sam Smith has been in the chat on Discord a lot here lately, talking about getting these guys that are different, these guys that make a difference. I think William Sawalich can be that guy. He's got that upside. You look back at last week, he starts in 9th, finishes in 6th. Again, much like his teammate Taylor Gray, nothing too fancy. Scores you 41.5 points. You like to see that, right? Dover starts at 8th, finishes 9th, 34 points. The week before, 43.5 points. You get back to a stretch of some of those bad weeks, right? And that's why we were fading him and making a lot of money off of it. But the 6th at Indianapolis, 9th at Dover, 3rd at Sonoma, that's his last 3 races. Chicago was 37th, Atlanta was 36th. Part of that you can put on the racetracks, right? Because in general, we're going to throw those results out anyways. Part of that you can put on. That's why we were fading Sawalich, because he does dumb things and puts himself in bad situations sometimes. But he had finishes of 6th place in Mexico City, 9th place at Coda, and I get 3 of those are road courses. So again, this isn't a completely, I'm trying to give you this pick and sell it to you without overselling it, because I don't want to overstate the case. But even if you look back at Phoenix earlier this season, he had a 13th place finish there. Not a bad day. He's been qualifying well. Typically typically that's not led to, I mean, Nashville, he did lead 37 laps, but he finished 34. So that ruins your day DFS wise. But if he can start good, lead some laps, and then finish decent like he's been doing the last couple of weeks, I think that there is the possibility he can be a great play. So with caution, I am attempting to sell you for the first time in my life some William Sawalich stock, which is pretty close to at an all-time low at $7,500. Again, not going to trust him in my cash games, but I think he could be a guy that's going to be extremely low rostered and is going to be different for you if you're looking to take down a contest. So I'm not being held hostage, as I say. Give me William Sawalich, 7,500.
With many cautions, William Sawalich could definitely be a factor in this race. And you're right. I was going to do a spit take. However,
I think we need less cautions, because if there's a lot of cautions,
he could be one of them.
He's getting caught up in a run.
You're
That's
absolutely
his
right.
problem. We need green flag racing.
Yeah, you're right. No, due to the many different electronic things sitting in front of me, I refrained from a spit take. However, that would have been a very good opportunity for one. So
we do need what is it, National Debt Relief, that sponsors the Relief Lap in the Cup Series now. You know, it used to be the Lucky Dog or whatever. Now it's the Relief Lap, brought to you by National Debt Relief. We need the Salary Relief sponsorship, Rod.
I would like that.
That'd
a
be
lot.
great.
Yeah, let's get the debt relief. Let's get debt relief, and we can say debt relief will help your salary relief, and yeah, we'll figure it out. But I like that. I like that a lot. All right, we talked earlier about Carson Hocevar. Will Colleague give him a car? They'll give him a car. That is a guarantee. He will get a car for this weekend. How good that car is going to be, I guess, remains to be seen. However, what we've seen lately is Colleague giving Daniel Dye a pretty decent car, and he is $7,000 on this slate. Don't look now, but Daniel Dye has a better fantasy points per race average than the following drivers: Carson Kvapil, Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones, Christian Eckes, Sheldon Creed. Big names down there, right? Nick Sanchez, even. He's got a better fantasy points per race than William Sawalich. And that is why you should consider him for your DFS slate. 29.8 fantasy points per race. He got you 46 points last week, 30 the week before that, 26 at the Loop, so that was Chicago. And then the week before that, he got you 55. Look, he's just been quietly putting together DFS days that, as we talk about guys, especially in these mid-ranges, right, you want somebody that can consistently give you decent enough finishes that he's going to score you points, right? And that's what you want out of a guy like Daniel Dye, because you're paying $7,000 for him. If you can get somewhere in the vicinity of 24, maybe what his average is right now, right? If you can get 29, you're happy. You're very satisfied with your day if you can get points like that out of Daniel Dye. And I think you can. I think there's nothing stopping you from getting a swell and decent day out of Daniel Dye. And at $7,000, I feel like it's worth the risk, because not a lot of people are going to want to trust Daniel Dye, because they see what people say about him. They see that we say, Colleague. We see that, Colleague can't give. But Daniel Dye has sort of been the exception to that rule. A nice, quiet little 17.6 average finish. I know Dye's in a Colleague car, but he's been able to improve on his starting positions over the last few races. 18th at Indy, finished 8th. 30th at Dover, finished 21st. I mean, these are pretty solid DFS days, right? Atlanta started 22nd, finished 8th. Mexico City started 29th, finished 13th. Right? An 11th place finish at Texas, a 9th place finish at Rockingham after starting in 27th, right? 7th at Martinsville, 9th at Homestead after starting 30th. Daniel Dye is good enough to drive this car and stay out of the fracas, right? Only 2 DNFs all season long. And I think that's the kind of driver you want, especially on this expensive slate, to get you going. Laura, I know. Oops, did she? Oh. Swell, groovy. I know. You know what? I've been listening to a lot of old vinyl, so just blame that.
But to Boji's point of Dye is in a Colleague car, exactly. Going to scare some people, as it should. But he's in a Colleague car not at $11,000 like Carson Hocevar. Yes, Carson Hocevar is a much more talented driver, but at $11,000, boy, that really scares you. At only 7,000 for Die, the upside is there. And a Hocevar could go out and compete for the win this weekend. He is that good driver, and Colleague gives drivers. We've seen Eckes have good runs all year, but a lot of not good runs too, because the cars fail more often, it seems, than they should for the level that Colleague should be. So that's where at only $7,000, there's a lot of upside with Die and less downside, right? Whereas Hocevar is probably going to start well, and $11,000, if he costs you points, it's a much bigger or a much worse downside than you're getting with Die. So I think that is a good distinction to make there.
Yes, sir. And I had him as a top 10 car in the betting episode yesterday, and I really truly believe that he could actually get that done again this week, because he did finish in 10th last season on this track. So and he started 37th, by the way, in that particular race. So another fantastic swing at a DFS day. So I love it.
Yeah. And real quick, Moji Joe with the Hall of Fame game question, since that starts soon. Took Detroit first half, Chargers +2 on the final parlay. Thoughts? I love the Chargers tonight +2. I think that is play of the game. I don't like betting against Trey Lance, the god that is Trey Lance you're betting against in the first half. I don't know if I like it, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair in the first half, and both teams will put up some points. So maybe Detroit gets the last laugh in the first half before the Chargers pull it out at the end of the game.
Just your Trey Lance love. It boggles the mind. All right, let's go full salary relief and go all the way down to our low price drivers, Cody, for this.
I had
slate.
so much Trey Lance in Dynasty. So it's so sad, Rod. But
that's on you, bud.
Anyways, no, that's on the 49ers for never giving my man a chance. But, whatever. All right, Rod, I am going to go way down and get a lot of salary relief. Third cheapest driver on the slate. Give me Joey Gase, $4,800. Saves you money, but he's also not too bad of a driver. You look back at last week at Indianapolis, starts in 36. Perfect, beautiful. That's what we want. And by the way, here's his starting spots. 36, 34, 37th, 4th. I don't know how the 4th came into play there, but 35th, 37th, 37th, 38th, 37th. His average on the season is 33rd, and that's heavily skewed by the 4th place starting spot earlier this season. So you want him to start at the very back. You want him to be slow in practice or in qualifying rather, because that's exactly what we want. And then there's almost no downside on the upside. And the upside is there. Finishes the 27th, 18th, 25th, 21st, 29th. A 33rd sprinkled in there, but 28th, 21st, 15th. Season average is 24th. That is really good finishes after bad starts. That was Talladega, by the way, where he started 4th. So I don't know. Did they have that much speed in the car? Boy, that's interesting. Maybe he was in a different car. I don't know. I'll have to go back and figure out what the hell happened there. But nonetheless, bad starting spots, which you love to see for a guy at this price, and great results. All in the 20s with one outlier at Las Vegas. Phoenix, he finished in 28th place. Just nice, solid runs. That is all we need from Joey Gase. Not super flashy, not going to be overly great, just solid. Phoenix last year, he finished in 27th place. Again, when you're starting 34th like he did in that race, you'll take it. He had a 28th place finish at Martinsville last year. Iowa last year, Roddy started in 36th place. God, I love it so much. He finished in 16th place. He has got 16th place upside, and he's going to start bad almost assuredly, and he's only $4,800. Gase is one of these guys. Sometimes you just have these veterans. I got this J.J. Yaley sign behind me here, and J.J. Yaley is one of those guys. He has been around a long fucking time. Him and Denny Hamlin came into the Cup Series at the same time for the same team, by the way. Amazing how far different careers can go. But the 2009 F1 champ, J.J. Yaley, is really great at just taking care of his equipment, surviving to the end, having a good day. That's what Joey Gase is at. So, yeah, I love to play him. And Boji Joe wondering why not Catherine Legg. Well, Catherine Legg is not in this race. So, otherwise, maybe would have, put her in here because she's been great DFS play most weeks, but not available this week. So, Joey Gase, $4,800, I think is a great guy. Saves you a ton of money and has some pretty decent upside.
believe me, when I was putting together mine, I was scrolling through looking for her, and you're right, she absolutely was not there because she's not in this race. But I will say, when you sort by fantasy points per race, and you scroll through a little bit, you go through and you see Connor Zilic, you're like, yeah, okay, I get that. You see Justin Allgaier, you're like, yeah, I get that. See Love, you see Dylan, not a full-time driver. You see Ross Chastain, not a full-time driver in there. You see, a couple other guys' names. Then all of a sudden you get to Brendan Poole. Brendan Poole, really? Yeah, he has the 8th highest fantasy points per race this season overall. We talked about who Daniel Dye has a better fantasy points per race average than. How about Brendan Poole, who's got better than Ryan Sieg and Daniel Dye on top of that as well? So why Brendan Poole this year? Well, he's $5,900. He's on the higher end of what I like to do when I hit value plays, but he, like I said, is getting you 30.7 fantasy points per race. He has only lost you points in 2 races this season. Look at his point totals. 30 last week, 15 the week before at Dover. All right, but 30 the week before that, 46, 41, 30. He got 40, 27, 22, 43, 62 at North Carolina. Ooh, let's go. 66 in the Marine Corps 250. That was a hell of a day for him as well. That was Rockingham, right? So started 28th and finished 4th in that race. Martinsville started 29th, finished 4th. These are short track races, guys, that he's finishing that well at. So you want to talk about having gigantic upside. That is a 60-point. Those are 60-point upsides for Brendan Poole, who people are just not. The 44 car does not get any headlines whatsoever. But boy, I tell you, if he gets me 60 points, I'm going to find him on the track and give him a gigantic hug, because that is exactly what you're looking for out of a guy. $5,900, right? That's the kind of production you want, and that's the kind of guy that people ignore because they're looking at the salary and then they're just going, no, I don't want Brendan Poole because whatever, right? They're not looking at his fantasy points per race. They're not digging into his stats because the 44 car is not sexy. But you do not make that mistake. Load up on Brendan Poole. And hopefully he gets you anywhere between 40 to 60 points this week.
And he's not afraid to threaten to beat up Kyle Larson with his frosted tips on national television. Go back and check that out a few years ago. So yeah, gotta love Brendan Poole. But yeah, it's very much like a Dean Thompson, as TK points out here, or like a Joey Gase. Very good. He's a guy that's been around a long time at this point. Good at taking care of his equipment. He's not racing to win or trying to get max laps every single time. He takes care of his equipment. That's why the fourth place finish at Rockingham. That came because he conserved his fuel, played the strategy right, and ends up with a great day for a team like that. So yeah, I like this play as well.
Beautiful. All right, get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our DFS picks for this High V Perks 250 from the Iowa Speedway. Cody started you off with Tay Gray at $9,000 as his high price driver. I said Justin Allgaier straight at the top. Giving you permission to play him in at least a few of your lineups because you need to at $12,000. Cody, blink twice if you're hostage. Took William Sawalich, $7,500 as his mid-tier driver. I said Daniel Dye and his in-car camera magic will be my mid-tier driver. Cody went all the way to the bottom, almost, and gave you Joey Gase at $4,800 as his low-price driver. I said Brendan Poole at $5,900 would be my low-priced driver. All right, we're going to come back with our Cup Series picks, but before we do, allow me to tell you about our friends over at Circa. How about Circa, the world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas? It's hosting the world's biggest pro football contests, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You seriously can't call yourself a true GGN if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out, too, with SGPN at the Circa contest weekend, August 21st through 23rd, for an amazing weekend, including live shows and open bars. Plus, you get 15% off of a stay at the Circa with promo code SGPN15. SGP15. Rather, I did that. Justin did that last night, and he tripped me up, too. SGP15. Contests are open to everyone. Sign up in Nevada. You can play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP. You're going to get $50 off of your proxy fees. Open up the show by telling you about Underdog. Well, Underdog Best Ball Mania. It's happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is quite literally the place to play fantasy football, and it's the best way, of course. Underdog, also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Look, I gave you yesterday Kristen Latt as better than 2.5, I think, in the PDGA, the Pro Disc Golf Association World Championship. She has since slipped to 5.5. Please give me the better than. I know she's shook. I know she's sitting in 10th place right now. I understand everything, but she is a good enough player. She's only finished outside of the top 5 in one tournament this entire season. She's going to get it all gathered back together. She's going to go hit her putts. She's going to be the champion, if not the runner-up, of the PDGA World Champion Disc Golf, baby. Let's go. Kristen Latt, better than 5.5 in her finishing position. You can find that and many other things on Underdog. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. At what point, Cody, do you think people are going to get tired of my random sports polls?
I mean, if you keep giving out winners, hopefully never.
I would hope so as well. It's just, I love to go so deep into these things. They offer it. Why not take full advantage of all of it, right? That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun, especially digging into some of these other sports. I, of course, had an article out yesterday. You can go catch still on some PLL lacrosse for So You Like Sports, Rod. It's fun to dive into those lesser-known sports and wager on them or play the underdog stuff on them. It's always a lot of fun.
Indeed. But it is a lot of fun to continue to do it for racing as well, which is why we are here. The Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol, rather, set for 350 laps around this 0.875-mile paved track for 306.250 miles around the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. Indy cars take this track, Cody. It's fast. It's still going to be fast for the Cup cars.
Fastest short track on the planet is how they bill it, Rod. And I believe it lives up to it, being there a few times. We do have some open drivers in this race, Rod. Bubba Wallace is going to be in the number 23. Just kidding. Those guys are, of course, all open, but they are the regulars. The one non-regular, hey, Joey Gase, $4,500. He's not double dipping on this show, I do not believe, unless you have him in there.
I do not.
Hey, I'm less bullish on him in the Cup Series than I am in the Xfinity Series, but he's in this race as well, so shows you maybe that some teams like him at this track for sure.
Yes, indeed. So, all right, I guess it's start time to load up on our high-price drivers. Cody, where are we starting?
Yeah, I'm going to skip some of the top guys. There's some sexy, attractive names up here. The Denny Hamlins, the Ryan Blaney's, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron. I'm going to skip past all of them, go to $9,800. Give me the best driver at Hendrick Motorsports right now, Chase Elliott, Rod. He's been a man on fire. And 2 weeks ago at Dover, a very similar track to this, 124.9 DFS points. Started on the pole, led 238 laps, 72 fastest laps, finished in 6th place. A great, great day. He was $200 more expensive on that day, and they've dropped the price on him. Why they did that, who knows? But Chase Elliott, look, we've talked about him all year. We talked about him many years at this point in time, but he is consistent. He does not get you bad finishes. 20th place finish this season, nothing worse than 20th place. And that was at Atlanta, where he, by the way, redeemed himself and won the second Atlanta race, but a super speed drafting track, right? He has been good. 13th place last week at Indy, but still a decent DFS day. The 6th place at Dover was a great day. 3rd at Sonoma, 16th at Chicago, horrible day for him, but he won Atlanta, 5th at Pocono, 3rd at Mexico City. He has been on a tear right now. I don't know that there's a driver in the field that gets hotter or streakier, I guess I should say, than Chase Elliott. When he gets on a streak, and he does really well. He's on fire right now. He's been the best car at Hendrick Motorsports over the past few weeks. You're getting him at $9,800 as the 3rd priced Hendrick Motorsports car on the board here. And I think he's a great play yet again because he's shown the upside of being able to lead laps lately. We've seen it a couple of times, Dover obviously lately, and places like Kansas, some other tracks as well, where he's gotten out front. And he's had a strong car, and he's been in competition for some wins here. Of course, getting one in Atlanta as well. So Chase Elliott, $9,800.
Yeah, I definitely like the upside of Elliott. I know I talked about him yesterday in the betting episode when we were doing the matchup with Bell and just how good both of them are going to end up being. But like I said, I think Elliott is going to be that much better when it comes to overall performance on this particular race. So, all right, I am going to go, and this is fine. My heart kept saying, Rod, don't, because it's been broken too many times, and you probably should stay away from Ryan Blaney for a while, the little cooling off period with Ryan Blaney. But this is it. This is, for me, going to be a GPP play only. Do not put him in your cash lineups, because if he just melts down, then you're going to go, Rod, you told me that Ryan Blaney was a... Yeah, I did. But again, if you're brave and you want to put him in your cash lineups, by all means do. But I think that the guy who scored you 117 points last year at this race, right, started on the outside pole, won the race, had 48 fastest laps, 201 laps led on this track, right? We talked about 350 being a lot of laps or 250 being a lot of laps. 350 is definitely a lot of laps around this, especially for DFS purposes. And we've seen how people are crying that it's hard to pass in the next gen car and blah, blah, blah. And, you get strung out on a short track and there you are. So, like I said, Ryan Blaney scored you 117.85 fantasy points on this track last year. The next best person there was Ricky Stenhouse with 70.45. Is he going to get you 117 again this season? No. I highly doubt it. But look, man, if Ryan Blaney, he can get it done, right? 7th place at Indy last week, 8th place at Dover the week before that. But what really makes those races even better was that both times he started outside of the top 20. 24th last week in Indy, scored you 60 points last week. The week before that, scored you 66 points at Dover after starting 31st and finishing 8th. I don't know that you're going to get that again, but at Pocono, started 20th, finished 3rd, got you 60 points that day, right? Got you 119 points after winning in Nashville, right? 3rd place at Kansas, 3rd at Texas, 5th at Bristol, 5th at Darlington. Ryan Blaney is a capable driver. Ryan Blaney can do great things. Please, Ryan Blaney, do great things for our DFS lineups this week. That's all I'm saying. He's $10,000, $10,700. Take him at your own risk, but I still think he's worth some sort of rostership this week.
Yeah, he's got upside. Obviously, it was great here last year. Remember, there were like 100 Ryan Blaney fans in the stands that were all related to him because his mom's side of the family was from somewhere close or something like that. So he's got, that family track, I guess you want to call it. I don't want to really call it home track. He's from North Carolina, right? But his mom's family's from there, showed up, and Penske's been solid, especially Ryan Blaney, at short flats, right? We've seen a lot of good runs at Phoenix from him. He's co-favorite to win this race on some books for a reason. So the upside's there, but, there's also some downside possibilities out there as well.
I know. And Boji Joe saying that Cody sold William Sawalich better, Rod. Because William Sawalich, it doesn't take much to sell William Sawalich because he's been doing so poorly.
I think it takes a lot to sell William Sawalich because he sucks in a general sense.
No, because you can always have the catch-all. That's what I'm saying. That's the catch-all right there. You can say, yeah, but he sucks. So, if he goes out and he does poorly, then you expect that. But, with Ryan Blaney, you have to sell more because people are hurt by him. People aren't hurt by William Sawalich.
Okay, you got a good point, I suppose. Well, somebody that people have been hurt by to some degree this year, Rod. But Boji Joe would like us to talk about Kyle Busch, so I'll do it. 8,200 for K redacted B Kyle Busch. And 8,200, but he's been really solid. Last week, did not a great day. Finished in 25th and only scored you 4.5 points to the Brickyard. But before that, he's got runs 32.8, 41 points. 40.9, 29.5, 29. Bad day Mexico City, but 30.9, 44.9, 37.5, 37, 35.7. It's been a lot of solid runs from Kyle Busch, and it's come at the hands of 11th place finishes at Dover, 5th at Sonoma, or 10th at Sonoma, 5th at Chicago. 8th place at Michigan. Ran well at the All-Star race, by the way, where he finished in 8th place. Short flat track at North Wilkesboro there. You like to see stuff like that. Bristol, he ran 14th. Darlington, he had a 4th place finish. Phoenix, comp track, by the way, 8th place finish for him. Last year at Dover, we had a 4th place run by Kyle Busch. So he's shown some flashes, and I know we like to make fun of him. I know we took the F away. He's not earned it back just yet. But at this price, at only $8,200, I think he's just a guy that most weeks is going to go out and have a solid day for me, right? It's not what we once expected from Kyle Busch. He's not leading laps. He's not competing for wins, but solid days. We saw last year at Richmond, his teammate had the car to beat, right? He was the best car in the field at the end of that race, had a great day. Maybe they can find some of that magic. I believe, I'll have to go back and look. Was Kyle Busch one of the tire test people here?
Yes.
I feel like he was. I think it was him, Briscoe, and somebody for Ford. But I believe Kyle did test here, which also maybe gives him a little bit of an advantage as well. So give me Kyle Busch at $8,200.
I love it because you froze right when you were going to pause for effect, so it paused even longer for effect.
That was. Oh, did I pause on top, or did I freeze on top of the pause?
Yes, you did. Yeah,
because I put the pause in there for effect, but the freeze makes it even better.
It was fantastic. It was as if even the internet
Great
knew.
Timing.
Yeah, even the internet knew that it was no. Yeah. All right, I love it. Give me some Kyle Busch as well. I'm going to go to Ryan Preece, $7,000 for Ryan Preece. Now, if you have picked up on anything over the last 3 seasons, 4 seasons, however long we've been on, 600 and some odd episodes, especially for DFS episodes, I like to sort almost immediately by fantasy points per race, especially when I'm going for value, because for me, a lot of times it doesn't add up, the price versus where they sit right now, right? That's the thing with Ryan Preece, right? He's right behind Ryan Blaney, and Ryan Preece is an 8th overall in terms of fantasy points per race with 34.2, and he's sitting at $7,000, where guys like Tyler Reddick are sitting at $9,500. He's got a better average than him. Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, his teammate, even Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, all these guys, right? Chase Briscoe's at $9,000. Christopher Buescher's at $8,700. But tucked in there nicely is Ryan Preece at $7,000. He got you 65 points last week after finishing 4th in Indy. Now, the only problem with Preece is that he'll give you 16-point days like he did at Dover. But he gave you 39 at Sonoma, 37 the week before in Chicago. If you look at what Ryan Preece has done at some short tracks, he started 21st at Martinsville and finished 7th. I do like what he did at Miami, where he started 31st and finished in 9th. Started 28th at Phoenix and finished 15th. Started 12th in Vegas, finished 3rd in that race. Pocono started 13th, finished 8th. So some good runs after some pretty poor starts for Ryan Preece. And, he's only got 9 top 10 finishes and 22 starts this season. However, like I said, fantasy-wise, he's looking pretty damn good on a week-over-week basis. Not necessarily. They're going to be outliers, and he's only lost you points once this entire season. But at $7,000, I will take the upside of a 40 to 60-point day out of Ryan Preece. Not a good run here last year, so you can pretty much do what you will about that one. But obviously, we're not really basing Ryan Preece's season off of last year. He got you 19 points last year, did Ryan Preece, but he was driving the Stewart Haas on the tail end of their world last year, not in the RFK car, who we know has speed on a week-to-week basis. But yeah, I do. Like I said, I like Ryan Preece, especially for DFS purposes, because $7,000 is a very strong price to pay for a guy with 40-point upside.
Initially going into this week in the Cup Doc, I had Ryan Preece 60-1 as one of my outright plays. But as I researched him more, because you think of him, you're like, oh, short flats, like modifieds. Oh, part of this is where you want to get out on him. But you look back, and he's not been as good as you'd hope on some of these tracks. But it's been a lot better season this year with the 60 car, right? He should have it in him at a track like this. I think there's some risk. I think he seems popular. I've seen his name, heard his name a lot of places. I don't love that for being different, but should be good here. Boji Joe wants to talk about Noah Gragson. Not happening. He's been absolute shit most of the entire season. I mean, since Kansas back in May, he has no races over 20 points, other than the All-Star race, which was the Open, doesn't count. Oh, no, that was the All-Star race, I guess, but we're not going to count that. It's been really bad for Noah Gragson. Not going to talk about him. He says, or Todd Gilliland, I could maybe get behind, but he didn't make the cut here. Rod, cheap drivers, I'm going down to save you some money. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I saved you money at the top of the board with Chase Elliott. Going to use it here at the bottom of the board. Give me John Hunter Nemechek, $6,200. We've talked about this Legacy Motor Club team plenty of times all season, but by the way, shout out to Sam Smith. He says he made it. Better late than never. That's right. We gave you a shout out earlier on the program, so go back and check it out at the end. But John Hunter Nemechek, guy that's going to save you some money near the bottom of the board. That has been freaking strong lately. He had a rocket ship last week, ended up wrecking in qualifying, so he started at the back and finished well, 55.7 points for you, of course. But he's turned in good performances, 55.7, 28.5, 4 at Sonoma, okay, 38, 15.3, 36, 64. That was Mexico, but had some down days in there, had some good days in there. But go back and you look, coming off that 12th at Indy, 21st at Dover, you'd like to be a little bit better, but even 21st place finish, if he's not starting much better than that, at $6,200, it can pan out. He's averaging a strong 30.2 points so far this season, by the way, but finishes the 6th at Pocono, 6th at Michigan. There is that upside that you like. He was second place in the All-Star Open race. By the way, raced his way into the All-Star race, which is good to see. Short, flat track there, right? 8th place at Texas. You go back to Phoenix earlier this year. The short flat comp that we have, 14th place finish for John Hunter Nemechek. This Legacy Motor Club team has been really good this season, and I was trying to look back last year too. I mean, he did have some outlier runs. They weren't great last year, but Bristol, which is a short track, 6th place. New Hampshire, very comp track to this, 8th place run when Legacy wasn't shit at the time, Rod. They are shit now, but good runs there on some comp tracks. So John Hunter, a guy that sticks out to me. Give me John Hunter Nemechek, $6,200.
Don't got to sell me on Legacy Motor Club. I know Boji Joe's asking, is Legacy fast on short track? I know he meant Legacy, but
I don't know about Legacy, but Legacy can be.
Yeah. I know. I think he's probably punting lag, but we're good. We're good.
Part of the problem is we've not had a lot of short tracks this year. There's not much to look back on, and really true short tracks. Martinsville we've been to, which I think, even though it's a short flat, is harder to comp to this track. And then, Phoenix. Outside of that, you can comp Dover, which isn't really a short track. But this is going to, while it's a short flat track, it's still very fast and races more close to a Dover. So that's where it's kind of in that weird spot for comping. But we don't have a ton of short tracks this year to look back on, which, hurts the case for great as Legacy been overall on short tracks. But John Hunter's definitely had his spots, and even last year when the team sucked, to be honest with you, he ran well at places like New Hampshire. So I'm going to take that positive and spin it forward this weekend.
Indeed. All right, we talk week after week about guys like Brad Keselowski. We talk about Michael McDonald. You talk about your boy Carson Hocevar. You talk about AJ Allmendinger, Josh Berry. But you know who's got a better fantasy points per race average than all of them? How about Justin Haley? Yes, even than his teammate, Carson Hocevar, all of you guys out there. Justin Haley got you 36. It's all right.
Oh, sorry. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
People are about to win money because of Justin Haley, because guess what? I gave him out last week, and he got you 56 points after starting 28th and finishing 11th at the Brickyard. So, listen, guys, you joke and laugh and all that stuff that you want, but he got you 56 points, which is a really damn good day. I think he's in for another solid outing again this week. You talked about overall. Look, he started 19th and finished 13th in Iowa last year, and that was in the 51 Rick Ware car. If you think that all this the Spire Motorsports cars are faster, well, guess what? Here's his chance to prove it. But like I said, he got you 56 points last week's, 30 the week before that, 42, 26, 22, 27. Not really fantastic in all of that one, but 45 at the Straight Talk Wireless, 49 at the Pennzoil, 15 at Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix, 44 at Daytona. If I can get 40 points out of Justin Haley at $5,300, I am absolutely celebrating. Again, I'm not going to make that much more strong of a case for him because he's going to be one of those guys where, again, people are going to be looking at the salary and going, yeah, okay, but there's probably a reason that he's that low. Yeah, there's a reason that he's that low, but he's also better than some of these guys like Brad Keselowski, who's priced at $7,600. He's better than Daniel Suarez, who's priced at $68. Better than Carson Hocevar on a fantasy points per race basis at $7,400. Better than Josh Berry at $8. Like, he's just better than these guys on a week-to-week basis. So, and just like Boji Joe says, he always finishes, pretty much always does finish, because that's really what Justin Haley does. He's just taking care of his car, and you can't ask for much more than that out of a guy. That's $5,300. So give me Justin Haley, who has one DNF all year long. That came at Phoenix, but he started 8th in that race, by the way. So, yeah, listen, like you said, throw up in your mouth, but hopefully be throwing up money at the end of it with Justin Haley on your roster.
Yeah, I think this is probably the place to use the driver of the number 7 car, Rod. I'm still not going to say his name because he's hurt me too much in betting this year. Not going to bet on him for sure. But again, if it's a guy who consistently finishes in the teens, the early 20s at a cheap price, not going to be a way to bet on him, but can pay off in the DFS streets. He has been paying off in the DFS streets. Props to you for calling him out last week. And Sam, who we just saw in the chat, I know was big on him here recently. So I'm not going to give him a full endorsement, as I'm not even saying his name currently, but the driver of the 7 car might be an okay play in DFS. I'll give you that much.
All right.
I've already spoken good words about William Swalich. I don't want to push the racing gods too hard, Rod.
I was going to say, this is an episode, the toughest episode Cody's had to do in a very long time, trying to say good things about a couple of bad drivers. But yeah, hopefully they all cash for you. Hopefully everybody is able to use these and turn in a pretty decent DFS lineup. All right, I'm smelling dinner. Let's wrap this up. Let's get out your pen and paper, go over our plays for this Iowa Corn 350. Cody started you off with Chase Elliott at $9,800 as his high-priced driver. I said Ryan Blaney at $10,700. Point on the doll where he's hurt you, but still load him up in some of your plays as my high-priced driver. Cody gave you KB at $8,200 as his mid-tier driver. Kyle Busch. I said Ryan Preece at $7,000 was my mid-tier driver. Cody's giving you John Hunter Nemechek, $6,200 for his low-priced driver. I'm going back to the well. Justin Haley, $5,300 this week as my low-price driver. Absolutely love this. Everybody, hopefully you load them up. Laura's got pork ribs tonight. I'm smelling the sausage that's cooking for our pasta. So I'm pretty sure they're already at the table getting ready for me. I'm ready to eat, Cody.
Let's get you out of here so you can get to dinner, Rod. Great show again, as always. Yeah, excited for some racing in Iowa this week. Hopefully the weather holds off and we get some great racing. Looking forward to it. I'm going to go turn on the Hall of Fame game. Hopefully, I'm sure Trey Lance probably already has over 27.5 rushing yards. Probably Chargers are up by a lot of points, I would guess. I haven't looked yet. But, yeah, enjoy your dinner, Rod, and follow me on the X, at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. I mentioned lacrosse article out for the PLL. There was stuff for the Hall of Fame game tonight. Hopefully you got in on that action. NASCAR stuff, all sorts of other stuff. I was on Old Fashioned Football this week. Check that out. I was on the Sports Gambling Podcast today. Check that out. Whew. Football season. Let's fucking go. Best of luck this week. And don't forget, kids, Nebraska corn better than Iowa corn.
I don't know if you want spoilers, Cody. I could tell you who scored and who caused the touchdown.
You could tell me. Was it Trey Lance?
Trey Lance.
Rushing touchdown?
Trey Lance, pass short, complete to the right. Catch made by Will Disley for 5 yards. Touchdown. Dicker the kicker with the extra point.
I played him in my DraftKings lineup tonight too, Mr. Lance. He's my captain on the team. So hoping he gets 3 quarters or so that it's been speculated he might play.
Beautiful stuff. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bottom, everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's In Between Media. If you turn this off, immediately go to the In Between Media channel. They'll be kicking off the Backroad Seth and Elliott in just a few moments. Or if you're listening to this late, go back, check them out, of course. And then there's all kinds of other good stuff. I got rugby coming up. Whatever I've got, find it on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. We will see you next week, everybody. Until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the racing, and let's go racing, and let it ride.